आफ्नो आसन ग्रहण गरिदिनु हुन हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछु। I would like to acknowledge the presence of Program Chair, Professor Dr. Dilip Supa, Vice Chancellor, Nepal Academy of Science and Technology, NAS. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Ganesh Shah, Coordinator, Science, Diplomacy and Promotion Committee, NAS. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Ram Adar Shah, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. Mr. Sri Suman Shekhar, First Secretary for Commerce, Embassy of India. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Vinod Kumar, Director of InSpace and former Deputy Project Director at Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, but Mr. Dr. Vinod Kumar could not join us here today due to last-minute unforeseen circumstances, so Mr. Sri Suman Sekhar will be joining us today. Welcome, sir. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all our honorable guests for gracing us with their presence today. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of our academician from NAST family. Now, I would like to invite a respected leader who has played a significant role in the fields of environment, science, and technology. He is a chemical engineer by profession, currently the coordinator of Science, Diplomacy, and Promotion Committee at NAST, and the former Minister of Environment, Science, and Technology, who has contributed greatly to renewable energy, appropriate technology, and rural development. He is also a strong advocate for climate change issues in Nepal. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to invite Mr. Ganesh Shah to kindly come forward for the opening remarks. Let's welcome him with a few round of applause.
सबैजनालाई नमस्कार। अब हाम्रो नेपालको आपेक्ष गरी विज्ञान र प्रविधि क्षेत्रको हाम्रो नासिका भाषा सचिवज्यू, हाम्रो भारतीय दूतावासका सहकारी हो नि सहकारी र सबैजनालाई हार्दिक नमस्कार गर्न चाहन्छु। सर्वप्रथम स्पेसकन 2026 यो कतिौं संस्करण मलाई थाहा छ। कहिले सुरु भएको स्पेसकन 2026 यो चाहिँ 6औं संस्करण है। र मैले यस्तो कुन साल होला सोधिनु हुन्थ्यो म प्रोग्राममा गयो भने किन सोधिन्छ भने त्यसको पछाडि एउटा ठुलो लजिक छ। यो ड्रप आउट भन्ने देश छ के हाम्रो देशमा। त्यसैले अब चाहिँ मलाई के लाग्यो भने 5 वर्ष पुरा गरेको 6औं वर्षमा गएको उपलक्ष्यमा अब चाहिँ अब म देशको व्यक्ति हो। अब मेरो छोरो चाहिँ 6 क्लास पढ्ने भयो भनेपछि त्यो अलिकति त्यसपछि भ्यालु बढ्नु हो के जो चाहिँ अब फेल नहुने अगाडि बढ्ला। त्यसैले 6औं वर्ष गाडीको उपलक्ष्यमा यो जसले यस्तो 6औं वर्षमा पुर्याउनु भयो यसलाई सहयोग समर्थन प्रोत्साहन गर्ने सबैजनाको लागि चाहिँ एकदम योगदान अनि मैले चाहिँ सम्झिरहेको छु 6 क्लास पछि 10 क्लास पढ्नु जब युनिभर्सिटी जान्छ अनि त्यसको रूप प्रमित हुन्छ। त्यसैले when we are celebrating the 15th anniversary त्यो बेलामा मलाई चाहिँ नेपालले स्पेस टेक्नोलोजी, स्पेस साइन्स र स्पेसमा इनोभेसनको लागि चाहिँ आफ्नो नामले अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय मानिसहरू सायद नासाले होला र अरू कन्ट्रीको पनि स्पेस एजेन्सीहरू चाहिँ नेपालको चाहिँ स्पेस फोर्स अंतरिक्ष प्रतिष्ठान नेपालसँग चाहिँ सहकारी गरेर जो मान्छेलाई फेरि होला को चाहिँ चेस्कोवा भन्ने को चाहिँ युरिया को स्पेसमा उड्ने हो हाम्रो भारतीय मित्रहरू हुन्छ आई रिमेम्बर when your space as cosmonaut flying with the Russians first time. I remember those days, I forget the name, but Rakesh Sharma. So we want to see that someday Nepali and the Indian also will fly in the space. And our collaboration, because our Prime Minister today morning, that I knew that our Prime Minister had brought the invitation from the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and we are working on the issues and what are the issues to be discussed while the visit of the Prime Minister. And I request humbly to our last Vice Chancellor and the Member Secretary, because we have been working with you closely and collaboratively. So, in the Prime Minister meeting, it must be one of the agenda how the Nepal and India can work on the space science, space technology, cooperation and collaboration. In the further future and immediate for today, because the space technology can be used for our livelihood, for the disaster mitigation and weather and other things also. So I think Nepal and India can collaborate very closely in this sector to the space technology also. Already भनेर मैले आज दुई तीनवटा कुरा सिकेको छु धेरै लामो भाषण गर्नु चाहिँ सक्दिनँ हैन पहिलो कुरा के छ भने कोअपरेसन एन्ड कोलाबोरेसन चाहिन्छ यो सब्जेक्ट यस्तो छ कि यु शुड नट वर्क यु क्यान वर्क इन आइसोलेसन यो कोअपरेसन एन्ड कोलाबोरेसन राष्ट्रिय लेभलमा पनि चाहिन्छ त्यसको लागि अन्तरिक्ष प्रशिक्षण नेपाल नास र यहाँ धेरै एजेन्सीहरूको मैले नाम यहाँ सक्दिनँ सबैको बिचको चाहिँ यस्तो स्पेसकोनले चाहिँ यो सबैको बिचको कोअपरेसन कोलाबोरेसन आगामी दिनमा अझै प्रगाढ गर्नुहोस् भन्ने पनि मैले सोच्न चाहन्छु तपाईहरुको यो सहकार जुन छ आगामी दिनमा अझै बढोस् भन्ने सँगसँगै कोअपरेसन एन्ड कोलाबोरेसन विथ द इन्टरनेसनल एजेन्सी अब जस्तै तपाईहरुले थाहा होला हामीले चाहिँ योभन्दा अगाडिको सेटेलाइटहरू कुनै चाहिँ जापानमा बन्यो कुनै नेपालमा बन्यो र नेपालमा बनेको स्लिपरको स्याट चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ एउटा विश्व चर्चित छ किनभने धनीले गर्नु र गरिबले कुरो गर्नुमा फरक छ पनि विधान छ र मैले यी विद्यार्थीहरूलाई सोधिदिएँ के भन्ने तपाईहरु अन्तरिक्ष यात्री बन्ने कि अन्तरिक्षको वैज्ञानिक बन्ने कि स्पेस क्राफ्ट बनाउने कि or something new they can bring also something very idea त्यसैले तपाईहरुलाई देखेपछि मलाई चाहिँ एउटा आजको ओपनिङ रिमार्कमा कस्तो लाग्छ भने नेपालको भविष्य धेरै उज्जवल छ किनभने तपाईहरुको उज्जवल किन छ भने तपाईहरुको अन्तरिक्षलाई पृथ्वीसँग जोड्ने काम गर्नुहुन्छ अन्तरिक्ष र हाम्रो मानव जीवनसँगको काठमा जोड्ने काम गर्नुहुन्छ त्यसैले आगामी दिनमा अन्तरिक्ष क्षेत्रमा तपाईहरुले जे आविष्कार अनुसन्धान गर्नुहुन्छ त्यसमा मेरो हार्दिक तपाईहरुलाई सफलताको शुभकामना छ अब मैले अर्को कुरो के भन्न लागेको नास्टिक्सले अहिले स्पेस मेकर्स हो स्पेस मेकर्स जो चाहिँ हामीले नास्टले चाहिँ स्पेस सेक्टरमा काम गर्ने व्यक्तिहरूलाई चाहिँ आउनुहोस् हामी काम दिन्छौँ सहयोग गर्छौँ भन्ने किसिमको चाहिँ वातावरण सिर्जना गरेको छ मैले बुझेको छु यो चाहिँ राम्रो इनिसिएटिभ जस्तो मलाई लाग्छ मैले भर्खर हाम्रो मन्सिकताभित्र जानुको साइन्स कम्युनिकेसनको कुरो गर्दै थिएँ अब नास्टलाई मान्छेले आउनु पर्यो कि यो अहिले छ नि मैले नासा भिजिट गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामीलाई अहिले मलाई नासा भिजिट मन्त्रीलाई पनि गराएको भए दम्म पर्थ्यो नासा भिजिट गरेर आएको म त विद्यार्थी हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ अन्तरिक्ष यात्रा भन्ने चिज हेरेको म त रसायनमा पढेको त्यतिखेरको रसायनहरूले चाहिँ स्पेस क्राफ्टहरू पनि देखाउन लाग्ने हामीले उनीहरूको एक्जिबिसनमा तर त्यसै गरी नासमा पनि तपाईँहरूले जस्तो बनाउनुहोस् कि मैले भने 15 सालतिर 10 वर्षपछि नासमा पनि नेपालको नासा बनोस् भने पनि शुभकामना मैले दिन चाहन्छु। तपाईँहरूले यस्तो अवसर थाल्नुहोस् कि नेपालमा नेपालको नासा भन्नु पर्यो के त्यसको चाहिँ ठाउँ कहाँ हो भनेपछि त्यसको सुरुवात गर्दाको हो भने त्यो नास नै हो मलाई लाग्छ एपेक्स बडी अफ दिस कन्ट्री र त्यसैले आगामी दिनमा साइन्स सम्बन्धीको नीति निर्माणमा त्यसमा अरू जुन प्रोत्साहन गर्ने कामहरूमा पनि हामी सबैजना लाग्यौँ। अन्तमा यो जुन बाल अपरेटर मैले क्यालेन्डर नै घुसेको मैले चाहिँ हरेक साल स्वास्थ्य साथीहरूसँग र तपाईँहरूले पनि चिन्ता गर्न चाहन्छु कुटिरो क्यालेन्डर 12 अप्रेल हाम्रो नयाँ वर्ष सुरु हुनुभन्दा एक दिन अगाडि पर्छ। त्यसैले मलाई किन हो किन लाग्छ म अलिकति आज मैले मुभमेन्ट गर्दै गएपछि यो वास्तुशास्त्र त्यो रसियनहरूले पनि किन 12 अप्रेलमा उडालाई भूमिका गरेको किनभने नेपाल जस्तो हाम्रो यो क्षेत्रमा चाहिँ नयाँ वर्षको सुरुवात हुन्छ नयाँ भविष्य देखाउँछ नयाँ उत्पत्ति दिन्छ। त्यसैले यो दिवसमा हरेक साल तपाईँहरूले निम्ति दिनु पर्दैन क्या लिखितो काम 12 अप्रेलमा हामी कहीँ कहीँ कार्यक्रम हुन्छ हामी किनले फेसबुकमा सार्वजनिकता दिँदैछ 12 अप्रेल next year we don't know where it will be. But we do in your calendar 12 अप्रेलमा चाहिँ हामी चाहिँ स्पेस सम्बन्धी कार्यक्रममा जान्छौँ र मैले यो यङ जेनेरेसनलाई के भन्छु भने तपाईँहरूले कमसेकम यहाँ बाहिर कुनै स्टलमा फोटो खिच्न मन लाग्छ चट्ट फोटो खिचेर सामाजिक सञ्जालमा राख्यो जसले गर्दाखेरि नेपालमा चाहिँ स्पेसको बारेमा हामीहरू चाहिँ यसमा लगाइरहनु अगाडि यसमा लागिराख्नुपर्छ। हामी चाहिँ यसमा अनवरत हिँड्छौँ यो यात्रा चाहिँ अहिले हेर्नुहोस् न अमेरिकनहरूले 25 लाख किलोमिटर उडेर आयो 9 दिन होइन अब तपाईँहरू जस्तो यो सोचे को कहिले उड्ने हो को कहिले स्पेसका डिजाइन गर्ने हो अहिले मुन्नाल र हाम्रो अरू चाहिँ भइरहेको छ। त्यसरी सबैलाई यो प्रश्न चाहिँ हार्दिक बधाई शुभकामना। आगामी दिनमा हाम्रो यो सरकार कोअपरेसन अगाडि बढोस् यति मैले पुनः सबैजनालाई म हार्दिक स्वागत र अभिवादन गर्दै अन्तमा पुनः एउटा भन्न चाहन्छु यो यङ ट्रेडिसन्सहरू प्लिज डु आस्क क्वेसन्स। विज्ञानमा के हो भने प्रश्न सोधिराख्नुपर्छ किन यो भएको हो भनेर तपाईँ राम्रो कुराको दिएको वस्तु मैले भनिदिन्छु ऊ पनि स्कुलमा चाहिँ क्वेसन सोधिराखे कोही क्लासमा निकाल्यो यो के विज्ञानको क्षेत्रमा धेरै पनि आस्क द क्वेसन्स र इनोभेटिभ चिजहरू गरिराख्नुपर्छ के तोड फोड जोड घटाउ गुणा भाग गरिराख्नुपर्छ के त्यसबाट विथ प्रमोटिङ गर्दा मैले पुनः चाहिँ तपाईँहरूले फोटो ल्यान्डस्टरको रूपमा विस्तार राष्ट्र भिजिट गर्नुहोस् आउनुहोस् त्यहाँ केही गरौँ रमाइलो पनि गरौँ कहिले काहीँ होइन अहिले संसारमा धेरै क्राइसिसहरू क्लाइमेट चेन्ज क्राइसिस डिजिटल डिभाइडको कुरो छ अहिले यो सबैलाई चाहिँ सम्बोधन गर्नु चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ यो स्पेस टेक्नोलोजीले चाहिँ धेरै कुरो चाहिँ समाधान गर्ने चाहिँ अगाडि बढ्छ यति भन्दै यहाँ बिराउँछु। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद सर। I would now also like to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Ravindra Prasad Kumar, Secretary NAS. Thank you so much, sir. Faculty Chief of NAS, Dr. Rudaram Shah and Engineer Bhushan Pandey. Thank you so much. And also Mr. Ramada Shah, Secretary Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. Thank you so much for your presence. Now to officially begin with this event, I would like to invite all our honorable guests to kindly come forward and inaugurate the program by lightening the ceremonial lamp. Let's welcome them with a huge round of applause, everyone. Thank you so much, honorable guests. We will now officially start our program. Now I would like to invite the Secretary of the Nepal Academy of Science and Technology, NAS, Dr. Ravindra Prasad Kumar, to deliver the vote of thanks for the successful launch of the Munal CubeSat. Dr. Dhakal has previously served as Chief of the Faculty of Technology and as a spokesperson. He holds a PhD in Chemical Engineering from Saga University, Japan. His research focuses on biopolymers, waste management, and biofuels, and he has also served as a senior science and technology advisor to the former Prime Minister of Nepal. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Ravindra Dhakal on the stage for the vote of thanks for the launch of the Munal CubeSat. Let's welcome him with a huge round of applause.
Good morning and welcome everyone present here. Let me first respectfully acknowledge the distinguished dignitaries presenting this hall. Professor Dr. Dilip Shubha, Vice Chancellor of Nepal Academy of Science and Technology, chairing of this opening ceremony. And I also would like to acknowledge Dr. Vinod Kumar Pandey, who is also supposed to be here, but because of the technical reasons, is not being able to join us. Likewise, I would also like to mention Engineer Ganesh Shah, who is Evergreen Science Minister for us, for all of us. I would like to acknowledge his presence here. And then Mr. Suman Sekhar, the first Secretary of Indian Embassy of Nepal, for Nepal, and academicians of NAS, faculty chiefs of Nepal Academy of Science and Technologies, Dr. Abbas Maski, the Managing Director of Antariksha Pratishthan Nepal, and I also want to welcome all the keynote speakers, all members of Antariksha Pratishthan Nepal, researchers, students, staff from NAS, and its partner organizations, organizers, supporters, media houses, and every distinguished guest present here. I'm Ravindra Dhakal, working at Nepal Academy of Science and Technologies, and this is my profound honor and privilege to deliver this Thanksgiving speech for the Munal CubeSat, which is considered as a milestone for the Nepali researcher and the scientist working on the satellite by their own hand in the level of the school level, middle school levels, which has been successfully concluded as a launching initiatives taken and supported by the Antariksha Pratishthan and Nepal Academy of Science and Technology together. And I also like to thank Indian government who has been instrumental to launch this Munal satellite from the ISRO. Today we gather here not merely to celebrate a technological achievement, but to offer our deepest gratitude for the historic milestones in Nepal's space journey. The Nepal Academy of Science and Technology proudly announces that Muna, the satellite fully developed in-house by the high school student, was successfully launched on January 12, 2026 at 10:17 a.m. IST, Indian Standard Time, aboard the Indian Space Research Organization ISRO's Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle PSLV C-62 from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota, India. Muna was a CubeSat that took 2 years to design and build at Nepal's first space system laboratory, SSL, located at Kathmandu University High School. This groundbreaking project was carried out by the dedicated team of 9 high school students from the Kathmandu University High School, Chaitanya Secondary School, Kabe, Azad Secondary School, Kabe, and Shantivani Model High School, Higher Secondary School, Kabe, with assistance from the Nepali engineers. Muna's primary missions were to monitor vegetation through the dual cameras, test a locally developed satellite system on chip, and demonstrate AI-powered data processing. The operation was managed through the NASA and ground stations in Kumata, and the satellite will be placed with a lower orbit at approximately 800 km altitude, however, it was not communicated due to the rocket issue during the launch. We feel very much sorry, but I think the missions have been completed and we bring it to the space anyway. This historic moment marks Nepal's transition from a beneficiary to an active contributor in this space. As Professor Dr. Dilip Chuba, Vice Chancellor of NASA, used to say that we were not just launching a satellite, we were launching the aspirations and the warriors of our youth. Echoing these visions, I myself have invested that NASA is actively supporting and welcoming young talents as the nation's space makers. And future satellites from the ground stations in a testament to this commitment we are always trying to fulfill. In the future, we aim to welcome new startup companies to collaborate in developing full-fledged space ecosystem, fostering innovations and industries, as Engineer Ganesha has already asked about, that every enthusiast space maker can visit NASA and we can work together. Engineer Hariram Shrestha, the chief of the Space Research Program at NASA, working at that research and development with the student and young researchers is our highest priority, and he has sees Muna like the first of many missions where academic innovation supported by the industry and a startup partnership will grow. Nepal is the space age. Dr. Abbas Maske, the director of Antariksha Pratishthan Nepal and the lead developer of the project, highlighted that Muna was a crucial first step in developing sustainable national space ecosystem with the goal of the institutional knowledge and creating a clear pathway for Nepali engineers and innovators to contribute to NASA and other government-led missions, ensuring our human capital drives the nation's future in space. This launch has been facilitated through bilateral support. As part of India's space collaboration between the Nepal and India, the Ministry of External Affairs of India and New Space India Limited (NSIL) signed a memorandum of understanding to provide grant assistance specifically for the launch of Nepali-developed Muna satellite. This agreement was matured during the high-level diplomatic engagement between the India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Nepal's Indian Foreign Minister Honorable Narayan Kasha, who co-chaired the 7th India-Nepal Joint Commission meeting from January 4 to 6, 2024, where they chaired the 7th India-Nepal Joint Commission's meeting, where they announced the pivotal space cooperation agreement. The Muna serves as the foundation prototype of Nepal's strategic space roadmap, and NASA is already leveraging the successful prototype of Nepal's strategic space roadmap. It's already leveraging the successful plan move advanced microsatellite mission in partnership with the neighboring countries and aiming to shape Nepal's role in the global space community. The missions also continues with the pride of a dedication team of 9 high school students from areas secondary secondary schools, Azad Secondary School and Sanjivani Model High Schools. And assistant from the Nepali engineers, Munal's primary missions were to monitor vegetations and the 12 cameras. This historic moment marks Nepal's transition from the beneficiary to an active contributor in this space. And we believe that the legacy of the NepalSat 1, launched in 2019, which was developed by Dr. Abbas Maski and engineer Hariram Shrestha, both whom are with us today, along with Mr. Kiandru, also present here as a presenter. As an audience, from Nepali Sat 1 to Munnar, we see a very clear trajectory of the growth that Slipper to Sat and Daphne and Munnar are some milestones that we have already played on. Learning and the national, considering as the learning and the national pride that we consider in this moment. On behalf of NAS and the government of Nepal, I extend our deepest gratitude to the student, mentor, Antariksha Pratishthan Nepal, Kathmandu University High School, Ananda Technology Private Limited, Embassy of India in Nepal, and Mr. Suman Sekhar, who could be considered as the very much instrumental for us to organize all these things, and the government of India and the Indian people, we especially would like to thank them. I especially thank the entire engineering team behind the Munnar. I also acknowledge our counterpart from NAS, Engineer Hariram Shrestha, Chief of the Space Research Center Program NAS. So today we give thanks, not as a formality, but as a heartfelt recognition of friendships, science, diplomacy, and the boundless energies for the youth. Munnar has risen, our sheer future has risen with it. Thank you, India, and thank you, ISRO and NCL and in this space. Thank you, students of Nepal who have nicely contributed to develop this Munnar satellite, and we have successfully launched, but unfortunately that may not be success to be placed in the lower orbit, but we have keep it, this satellite into the space. That's our success story that has connected and inspired all the other research and innovators to come forward to work for the microsatellite that we are planning from the Nepal Academy of Science and Technology in collaboration with the ISRO and the Indian government and the Ministry of External Affairs as well. So in these connections, I would like to say that Nepal Academy of Science and Technology is always open to all scientists, technology developers, innovators who can come forward with your idea that you can better contribute in the space field and work on developing nanosatellite, microsatellite, or any applications of these satellites that could be better contribute to the society and the country in the long run. So thank you very much for giving this me ample opportunity to thanks India and ISRO and their team to successfully launch this Munnar satellite, which was basically built by the students of Nepal who have been successful designing, launch, testing, and then even in the launching phase. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful remarks. Our chief guest, Dr. Vinod Kumar, Director of InSpace, could not join us today due to last minute and personal circumstances. On behalf of our chief guest, I would now like to invite Mr. Sri Suman Sekhar, First Secretary, Commerce of Embassy of India, to kindly
Director, Science Diplomacy for NAS and also former Minister of Development of Nepal. Dr. Ravindra, Secretary, NAS, faculty chiefs, researchers, students of NAS, Mr. Abhat Maske, Director of Antariksha Spacecon, all the other representatives from media houses, universities, academia. It is an honor and privilege for me to be here today with you on this occasion of Spacecon conference. I really I would like to thank NAST and the organizers for giving me the space to share my thoughts with you today. Also, sorry to know that Dr. Vinod Kumar could not join. I'm not a technical person, but I will try my level best to share with you some of the thoughts on space sector, India Nepal cooperation, startups, and where we stand today. So just as I came in outside, I saw a rocket model of Max 24 orbitals, I believe, and I think that shows to you today that Nepal has kind of arrived on the space scene. I remember that this startup had also gone to Startup Mahakam in India last year and they had presented this rocket and everybody was quite impressed. Similarly, as was shown here, there is the Manal satellite and other satellites which Antariksha Pakistan has developed in collaboration with NASA. And that sort of shows that you have already joined the space bandwagon and you can go very further ahead. So just as context, we in India have launched our first sounding rocket in 1963 and it's been around 6 decades since then. In 2023, August 23, you would all have read about the Chandrayaan 3 mission in which India became the fourth country to do a soft landing on the moon and the first country to land a rover near the south pole of the moon. It was a big achievement and it was in honor of this that we have now started to celebrate 23rd August as the National Space Day. And I hope that soon Nepal can also do such a achievement and you can have your own space day. So today, just to give you a sense of our scale, we have done launches in which we have launched 100 satellites on one rocket. We have also done more than 400 satellites for more than 34 countries. That includes Nepal, as Monal satellite was mentioned. We are planning to have a Bharat Antariksh station by 2035. We are also planning to have a lunar manned mission by 2040. We are working on advanced technologies like semi-cryogenic engines, electric propulsion, etc. And earlier, at the earlier stage of our space journey, we were thinking of working towards the government route. But now, since the last couple of years, we have had a great deal of research and innovation in space startups also and the private sector. So in space, from where Dr. Vinod Kumar would have come, was established in 2020 by our cabinet decision. And in space is a single window agency for all sorts of private space work and private space coordinates and encouraging private sector space development. So as you can imagine that all of the facilities we have like launchpad, etc., they are all government facilities. Now how can private sector share in the same spaces, collaborate and come up with new innovations? That is the goal of InSpace. We have now today more than 350 space startups and several of them have done very well. You would have read about the sensing capabilities of a startup called Pixel, and there are several like Garuda Aerospace, Dhruva Aerospace, Skyhood, etc., that are working on launch vehicles, and several others in different areas. In fact, our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, last year speaking at the National Space Day on 23rd August 2025, hoped that over the next 5 years, we can have 5 unicorns, startups with more than 1 billion USD valuation. And here, my message to Nepal is that we should also aim to have one in the next 5 years. And I do hope that if we have space unicorns, the space unicorns from Nepal can also collaborate with them on mutually beneficial projects. So, on the startup sector, I would also like to share that we from the Indian Embassy, we have been doing a lot with Nepal. I mentioned the startup Mahakumbh already. There last year in April, we sent around 20 startups from Nepal and we gave them a Nepal pavilion, which was the biggest international pavilion. And they were from different sectors, like somewhere consumer goods, somewhere software as a service, somewhere space. But they all exhibited their products there. They had very good response. And when they came back, we got this feedback that they were looking for basically three kinds of things from India. So one was mentorship and collaboration. Second was better collaboration technology, and the third was investments. And to help them achieve these objectives, we launched the first edition of a program called the Indian Nepal Startup Partnership Network last December. So under this program, we had a competitive process which we advertised through several channels, social media, newspaper, etc. And we invited startups here at every stage. So you could be an early stage founder with an idea, you could be somebody who has a product but is yet to scale it up, or somebody who has an idea and is trying to sort of have a minimum viable product but discover product market fit. So we were open to all of these startups and we received around 250 applications, out of which we selected 24. So most people were very good and I can say that most of them would have gone to that final stage but we had limited seats. So 24 startups attended an 8-week program at IIT Madras, which is one of the premier technological institutions in our country. And so just to give you context, IIT Madras Incubation Cell works like a venture capitalist or an investor incubator. And they have, if you look at the total valuation of their portfolio companies, that is more than $6 billion. And I believe one or two are already in the unicorn status. So we sent your 24 startups to this platform. So they have an incubator called IIT Madras, Covered Technologies. And they had a very rigorous course, they had classes, they did some practical skill training, etc. They did some internships with local companies. And I'm very happy to report that 9 out of those 24 got incubation offers from this IIT Madras research and incubation ecosystem. And because of this very good feedback and very good first edition, we are also hoping to launch the second edition very soon. And therefore, I will encourage those of you who are founders in the space sector or any other sector, I mean, you could be in AI, you could be in image processing, please do apply for this program. And especially if somebody is in the space sector, you can also look at it because they have a good aerospace program there. Coming back to, I would also like to touch upon that space sector has many practical applications and they are being utilized in India. So, one example could be crop insurance, that if there are floods, etc., and there is damage to crops of farmers. So, we utilize satellite data as one of the reference points to judge valuation, losses, etc. Second, I would also like to mention a very interesting software called PM Gati Shakti. So in India, earlier in project planning, if you wanted to plan, let's say, an expressway between two cities, it would take up to 2 years because you had to work with different agencies. You had to see that there is no railway line, you had to see that there is no pipeline, you would have to see that you have to move the power transmission lines away from it. It has to be away from a forest and several other considerations. It should not be near any mining area, etc. So to simplify these processes and to make project planning very swift, we came up with this PM Gati Shakti platform. So under this platform, there is geospatial data of all of India and different departments like railway, roads, forests, etc. They all present on the system. They all have different geospatial layers already present on the system. So today, if I want to plan an expressway or a pipeline between 2 points in India, I just go to that software, I choose the 2 points, and it clearly shows me that what should be the most optimum path, will there be ROW issues, and I would know in advance that if there is any issue with any department. And that has cut down our project planning process significantly, and now we can plan projects within 6 months. So this is a significant saving. And I believe that with geospatial data collected from satellites in Nepal also, you can look at such applications. That is one part. I am happy to note that, I mean, I've been talking to Dr. Maske, for example, and in all of these satellites, Monal, Slivosat, etc., they are incorporating different types of imaging sensors, and they're trying to get some data. And I believe that eventually, as you move up to higher levels of satellites, you would have more data. And therefore, that would mean opportunities for startups that process that data, that can have derive more inference from that kind of data, more of AI applications. And there also in AI, I will encourage those of you who are interested, you can look towards India. We had the AI Impact Summit, which was very successful. We have several AI tools as a part of our digital public infrastructure, and I believe that you can look at some of those for collaboration in the AI sector. So on that note, I would wish the organizers the very best. Once again, thank you for organizing this event and bringing all stakeholders together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, I would like to kindly invite our program chair, Professor Dr. Dilip Subba, a distinguished academician and administrator currently serving as the Vice Chancellor of NAST. With an eminent career in food technology and higher education, he has held several key leadership positions with Tribhuvan University and various national scientific institutions. In his current role, he is focused on strengthening Nepal's national space ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Professor Dr. Dilip Subba.
Thank you. पूर्व वातावरण तथा निगम प्रवृत्ति मंत्री इंजीनियर गणेश शाहजी वहाँ इसके साथ नाथ को साहित्य डिप्लोमेसी कमेटी का संयोजक भी हुनुहुन्छ नाचका प्राध्यापक प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर रमेश मास्के, नाचका सचिव डॉक्टर नरेंद्र प्रसाद पाल, भारतीय दूतावास का प्रथम सचिव सुमन शेखर जी, अंतरिक्ष प्रतिष्ठान नेपाल का संस्थापक डॉक्टर आवास मास्के, स्पेस प्रविधि स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी का अनुसंधानकर्ताजीहरू, इन्जिनियरहरू, नासका वैज्ञानिकजीहरू, your enthusiasts, विद्यार्थीहरू तथा सञ्चारकर्मी, यो
आजको यो सम्मेलन स्पेसकन 26 यसरी अन्तरिक्ष प्रतिष्ठान नेपालको कार्यक्रमको नाश साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजीको प्रमोटर भएको हुनाले हामी यो सहकार्य गरेका हौँ र यस कार्यक्रम व्यवस्थापन गर्न सञ्चालन गर्नको लागि हामीले साथ दिएका हौँ। यसरी यो एउटा संयुक्त रूपले स्पेसकन 2026 आज आयोजना गरेको छ। कन्फरेन्सको दृष्टिकोणबाट पनि स्पेस टेक्नोलोजी युगको परिप्रेक्ष्यबाट पनि यो एउटा अमल बिगिनिङबाट हो। आज यस सम्मेलन हलमा जुन सङ्ख्या छ आजको एक दशकमा धेरै नै खचाखच र स्पेस साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजी वैज्ञानिकहरूले परिपूर्ण हुनेछ भन्ने पनि म आजको आशा गर्न चाहन्छु। यस सम्मेलनको थीम रहेको छ बिल्डिङ नेपाल्स स्पेस टेक्नोलोजी इकोसिस्टम। र यो आज एउटा अस्पिसियस डे स्पेस टेक्नोलोजीको इतिहासको सन्दर्भमा एउटा अस्पिसियस डे हो। आज अप्रिल 12 जुन दिनलाई चाहिँ हामीले फर्स्ट ह्युमन इन स्पेस भनेर जान्दछौँ र त्यस दिन रुसका कस्मोनट युरी गागारिनको स्पेस फ्लाइट भएको थियो। यस सम्मेलनको जेनरल अब्जेक्टिभमा स्पेस टेक्नोलोजीमा संलग्न सबै वैज्ञानिकहरू, अनुसन्धान कर्मीहरूले आजको दिनमा स्पेस टेक्नोलोजीका विविध पक्षहरू, विविध विषयहरूमा छलफल गर्नुहुनेछ। सेटेलाइट एट्याक, ground station, satellite design, building or development, testing, even launch of space vehicles. Now, अन्य space technology development का महत्वपूर्ण इश्यूजहरूमा उहाँहरूले तपाईँहरूले छलफल गर्नुहुनेछ। सँगसँगै आफ्ना साइन्टिफिक एक्सपिरियन्सहरूलाई पनि सोकेस गर्नुहुनेछ र यो पनि आशा गर्दछु कि नेपालको स्पेस टेक्नोलोजीको फ्युचर कोर्स कसरी जानेछ, फ्युचर कोर्स अफ एक्सनको विषयमा पनि तपाईँहरूले ब्रेन स्टर्मिङ गर्नुहुनेछ र प्रतिवेदन तयार गर्नुहुनेछ भन्ने मैले आशा गर्दछु। एक्चुअली यो सम्मेलनको उपलक्ष्यमा इन्डियाका, भारतका इसरो, इन्डियन स्पेस रिसर्च अर्गनाइजेसन त्यहाँ कोअर्डिनेट गरेको इन्डियाले स्पेस टेक्नोलोजी क्षेत्रमा कति विकास गरिसक्यो भन्ने कुरा मैले तपाईँहरूलाई जान्न परेन र त्यसको लागि प्रमुख रूपले इसरोको एउटा अङ्ग इन स्पेस चाहिँ इन्डियाको प्राइभेट सेक्टर स्ट्रक्चर्सहरूलाई रेगुलेट गर्ने र प्रमोट गर्ने संस्था हो, गभर्मेन्ट संस्था हो। र त्यस संस्थाका डाइरेक्टर डाक्टर विनोद कुमार उहाँको उपस्थिति पनि आजका दिन र नाससित उहाँको संस्था इन स्पेसको MOU साइन्टिस्टहरू भनेको कार्यक्रम रहेको थियो। विशेष कारणवश उहाँ आज हुन सक्नुभएन, तर हामी आशावादी छौँ। चाँडै भविष्य could be July, हामी प्लान गर्दैछौँ फेब्रुअरीको उपलक्ष्यमा उहाँ आउनुहुनेछ र त्यो MOU साइन सेरेमनी हामी पुरा गर्नेछौँ। त्यसो गरिसकेपछि यो अपरेसनको मात्र हामीले नेपालमा टेक्नोलोजी र स्टार्टअपहरू, यङ एन्टरप्रेनर्सहरू, प्राइभेट सेक्टरलाई प्रोत्साहन हुने वातावरण निर्माण हुन्छ। त्यसै गरी इन्डियाको एकदमै लिडिङ पायोनियर सेटेलाइट स्पेस भेहिकल म्यानुफ्याक्चरिङ कम्पनीका संस्थापक प्रमुख पनि हामी यस एक्सपेक्टेडली उहाँलाई यहाँ उहाँ पनि यहाँ आउनुहुने हामीले आशा गरेका छौँ। उहाँले एक्चुली उहाँलाई एक्चुली निबन्ध गर्न यसै आजको दिनको लागि गरेका छौँ विशेष कारण। सो यो मैले भनेको कारण चाहिँ जति पनि इन्थुसियास्टहरू हुनुहुन्छ स्पेस टेक्नोलोजीको उहाँहरूलाई पनि एउटा प्रेरणाको काम गर्न सकि भन्ने आशा। अब एज यु अल नो नेपालमा स्पेस टेक्नोलोजी भनेको एकदमै नयाँ र इमर्जिङ सेक्टर हो। र अर्को प्रकारले भन्दाखेरि यो बाल्य अवस्थामा छ स्पेस टेक्नोलोजी, यसको विकासलाई बाल्य अवस्थामा छ। साँच्चै भन्ने हो भने April 2019, excuse me, म होटल स्टाफलाई त्यो ढोका लगाएर आँखामा लाइट परेर सरी। सो एक्चुली नेपालमा स्पेस टेक्नोलोजीको यो सुरुवात चाहिँ 2019 त्यति बेला 2019मा नेपालको फर्स्ट सेटेलाइट एउटा लो अर्बिट न्यानो सेटेलाइट चाहिँ लन्च गरेको थियो। र त्यसपछिका प्रदेशहरूमा एक्चुली यो अन्तरिक्ष प्रस्थान नेपालको व्यवस्थापनबाट सबैले न्युज पढ्ने न्युजमा थाहा नै छ। स्कुलका विद्यार्थीहरू विद्यार्थीहरूलाई चाहिँ परिचालन उनीहरूको संलग्नतामा चाहिँ स्लिपर्स टु सेट भन्ने प्रशिक्षण गर्यो। र जनवरीमा जस्ट पास्ट जनवरीमा एउटा अर्को न्यानो सेटेलाइट नासको अन्तरिक्ष प्रस्थान इनिसिएटिभ र +2 लेभलका विद्यार्थीहरूबाट निर्माण मुनाल नामको अर्को एउटा सेटेलाइट। त्यो पहिलो चाहिँ नेपाली सेट-1 भन्ने थियो, यो चाहिँ मुनाल। त्यसमा डाँफे भन्ने पनि निर्माण गरेका थियौँ। त्यसको लन्च चाहिँ विभिन्न कारणले गर्दा हुन सकेन। र यसरी नै अब इतिहासलाई हेर्दाखेरि त्यसको मुनाल सेटेलाइट लास्ट जनवरीमा इन्डियाकै सहकार्य इसरो र एउटा इन्डियामा लन्च प्रोग्रामहरूकै लागि भनेर चाहिँ एउटा स्थापित कम्पनी छ। उनको व्यवस्थापनबाट इन्डियामा यो श्रीहरिकोटा साउथ इन्डियामा छ श्रीहरिकोटा फोटो पनि देखाइएको थियो। त्यहाँको चाहिँ पिकअप सारालाई लन्च स्टेसनबाट चाहिँ लन्च अफकोर्स त्यो मिसन पुरा आउन सकेन केही कारण पऱ्यो पनि म अब लास्ट विज्ञान र प्रविधिको विकासको लागि स्थापित राष्ट्रिय संस्था हो। तपाईँहरूलाई यस बारेमा सामान्य जानकारी छँदै नै छ र यसले अनुसन्धान र विकास R&D अझै अहिले हामी RDI पनि भन्छौँ अथवा रिसर्च एन्ड इनोभेसन पनि भन्छौँ त्यो गर्ने आफै र गर्ने र गराउने व्यक्ति र अन्य विभिन्न क्रियाकलापहरूबाट साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजीको प्रमोसन गर्ने प्रवर्धन गर्ने म्यान्डेट पाएको संस्था भएकोले स्पेस टेक्नोलोजी पनि यसको स्कोपभित्र कार्यक्षेत्रभित्र पर्ने स्वत स्वाभाविक रूपले पर्दछ र स्पेस टेक्नोलोजीको विकासको लागि हामीले केही प्रयासहरू विगत केही वर्षदेखि केही प्रयासहरू सुरु गरेका छौँ र केही सुविधाहरू हामीले स्थापनाहरू गरेका छौँ र अहिले हामी सुरुवात चाहिँ क्यापेसिटी बिल्डिङ नै पहिलो सर्भको हो। त्यसमा ह्युमन क्यापिटल ह्युमन रिसोर्सको बिल्डिङदेखि लिएर अरू नेसनली इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर फिजिकल फेसिलिटिज बिल्डअप गर्ने भन्ने नै छ। अब त्यही हाम्रो एकाउन्टको उसमा सबैले चिन्नु नै भएको छ इन्जिनियर हरिराम श्रेष्ठ हुनुहुन्छ जो नासके कर्मचारी हुनुहुन्थ्यो र जापानमा त्यो स्पेस इन्जिनियरिङमा PhD गर्नुभयो र त्यहाँ चाहिँ यो फर्स्ट 3 स्पेस प्रोजेक्ट जसमा नेपाल बाहेक अन्य देश पनि विद्यार्थीहरू पनि उहाँहरू पनि संलग्न हुनुहुन्छ र यसरी चाहिँ यो पहिलो नेपाली सेटेलाइटको निर्माणमा उहाँहरू संलग्न हुनुभयो र उहाँले नै अहिले नासको स्पेस टेक्नोलोजी प्रोग्रामलाई लिड गरिरहेको छ। अब त्यसै अब थप कुरा गर्दाखेरि हामीसँग ग्राउन्ड स्टेसन पनि छ सेटेलाइट डाटाको कम्युनिकेसन ग्राउन्ड स्टेसन पनि छ र हामीले स्पेस रिसर्च सेन्टरहरू स्थापना गरेको हो। अहिले यसलाई इन्जिनियरिङ गरेर स्पेस एन्ड एस्ट्रोनोमी रिसर्च सेन्टर भनेर स्थापना गरिरहेको अवस्थामा छौँ र भन्नुपर्दाखेरि स्पेस मेकर स्ट्रेटेजी अन्तर्गत यसै अन्तर्गत चाहिँ प्राइभेट सेक्टर स्टार्टअपहरूलाई फेसिलिटेट गर्ने प्रमोट गर्नको लागि केही सहजीकरण गर्ने अथवा कोअपरेसनहरू यो गरिरहेका छौँ। त्यसमा अभियसली अन्तरिक्ष प्रतिष्ठान नेपाल भइहाल्यो अर्को रकेट त्यसको रूपमा चाहिँ मोहन तामाङ म अहिले यहाँ हुनुहुन्छ देखिरहेको छु उहाँको नेतृत्वको केहीजना विशेष सम्बन्धित युवाहरू भएको एउटा मार्केटको अडिटर्स भन्ने संस्था पनि छ त्यसले केही कामहरू एक्चुअली गरिसकेको छ र त्यस संस्थालाई हामीले हाम्रो रिमार्समा म्याकर स्पेसको फेसिलिटी प्रोभाइड गरेका छौँ। यसो हुँदै गरेर हामीले अब यो क्यापेसिटी बिल्डिङ and furthering of space technology missions towards mission. हामीले अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय संस्थाहरूसित पनि कोअपरेसन एन्ड कोलाबोरेसनको इन्भाइरोमेन्ट चाहिँ अभिवृद्धि गर्दैछौँ। अब सुरुको नेपाली क्षेत्रमा बेलामा त क्युचु इन्स्टिट्युट अफ टेक्नोलोजी जापान भइ नै हाल्यो। त्यसपछि अहिले यता आएर इन्डियाबाट र थ्याङ्क्स टु शेखर सुमनजी एन्ड द गभर्मेन्ट अफ इन्डिया धेरै नै हामीले उहाँहरूबाट कोअपरेसनहरू पाइरहेका छौँ, सपोर्ट पाइरहेका छौँ। त्यस्तै इभन अन्य छिमेकी मुलुकहरू लाइक एप्सको अफ चाइना उनीहरू पनि हामीसित यो विषयमा चाहिँ सहकार्य गर्ने इच्छुक हुनुहुन्छ। र यस्तो किसिमले यो कस्तो विषय हो भने फुल क्यापेबिलिटी डेभलप भएको त 8-10 देश मात्रै छ। अरू चाहिँ कोही 1 आवर जब मात्रै उहाँको क्यापेसिटी छ। अन्यलाई चाहिँ रिजनल कोअपरेसनहरू गर्नुपर्छ, इन्टरनेसनल कोअपरेसन गर्नुपर्छ। त्यसो हुँदाखेरि हामीले यो फिल्डमा चाहिँ अगाडि बढ्दैन। मैले यहाँ कुरा गरिराख्दा तपाईँहरू सबैजना हुनुहुन्छ। मैले एकजना इन्स्पायरिङ पर्सनालिटिजहरूको नाम पनि लिन चाहन्छु। जस्तै म गणेश ज्यूको नाम लिन चाहन्छु। उहाँ विज्ञान प्रविधिको मन्त्री मात्र होइन, विज्ञान प्रविधिका कुनै पनि विषयहरूसँग पनि अत्यन्त त्यसमा उत्सुकता राखी त्यसमा फुल्ली इन्भल्भ हुने व्यक्ति हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँ नासको वैज्ञानिक समितिहरू छ विभिन्न, एउटा साइन्स डिप्लोमेसी भन्ने छ, कति प्रोफेसरको साइन्स टेक्नोलोजी हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँले समितिको आइपुग्नु धेरै राम्रो भयो। अहिले आइपुग्नु भएको छैन प्रतिनिधि सभाका माननीय सदस्य श्री महावीर कुञ्ज्यू। उहाँ हो हामी विज्ञान प्रविधि क्षेत्रमा लागेको लागि जो चाहिँ वास्तवमा हाम्रो ठुलो सहयोगी मन्त्री भएर पनि र अहिले पनि र हाउसमा पनि विज्ञान प्रविधिको विकासको लागि स्ट्रङली एडभोकेट गर्ने कुनै कम्प्रोमाइज बिना कुरा राख्ने व्यक्ति हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँ हुनुभएको भए नासको तर्फमा उहाँलाई धन्यवाद दिन्थेँ। त्यस्ता अरू पनि हुनुहुन्छ, सबैले चिन्नु भएको माने अर्थ सम्पादन पनि हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँको तिनवटा शब्द प्रयोग गर्नुहुन्छ, प्रकृति, संस्कृति र प्रविधि अथवा आविष्कार। यस्तो कुरा गर्ने, एडभोकेट गर्ने, लाग्ने, उपयोग गर्ने। अब नासको धरानमा कोशी प्रदेशको विस्तृत अनुसन्धान गरिएको छ। नाच सुन्ने बित्तिकै यो धरानमै बस्नुपर्छ, यसको अफिस सबै म सहयोग गर्छु भनेर अहिलेसम्म गर्नु राम्रो घर नयाँ नगरपालिकाबाट उहाँले मेयर हुनुहुन्छ। त म यस उपलक्ष्यमा उहाँहरूप्रति दिन्छु र अब सरकारले पनि अब हाम्रो यो नयाँ सरकारप्रति पनि हाम्रो ठुलो हामीलाई विश्वास छ कि स्पेस टेक्नोलोजी ओभरअल साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजीको विकासको लागि सरकारबाट निश्चय नै सहयोगहरू बजेटदेखि लिएर सहयोगहरू प्राप्त हुनेछ। सचिवज्यू आउँदै हुनुहुन्छ होला मन्त्रालयबाट, उहाँको पनि योगदान सरकारले हामीले स्पेस टेक्नोलोजी विशेष परियोजनाको लागि आयोजना गर्ने पनि बजेटहरूको लागि प्रयत्न गरिरहेका छौँ, पाउँछौँ भन्ने आशा छ। म त्यसो हुनाले र अन्तमा सबैजनालाई सहभागी यस सम्मेलनमा सहभागी भएर सक्रिय सहभागिताको लागि आशा पनि व्यक्त गर्दै दुई शब्द यही सक्दछु। धन्यवाद।
Very, very धन्यवाद, sir. Next, we will now move on to the award ceremony, where we will have one award and three distinguished recognitions and appreciation. Each year, Antariksha Pratishthan Nepal recognizes the efforts and achievements of organizations in the fields of innovation, space, and technology. In this regard, we will now be presenting the award. I would now like to invite our Program Chair, Honorable Guest, Professor Dr. Reem Suba to the stage again to kindly present the award. Let's welcome him with a huge round of applause. I would like to request Dr. Reem Suba to please come forward to the stage for the award. Thank you so much, sir. Antariksha Organization of the Year is Sanima Hydropower Limited. Let's congratulate them with a round of applause. And now I would like to request Professor Dr. Engineer Ramesh Maske, Independent Director of Sanima Group, Matilo Maili Kola Jalvidyut Limited, to come to the stage for the award on behalf of Sanima Hydro. Let's congratulate him with a huge round of applause.
So, थोरै यता आइदिन्न थोरै सेन्टरमा आइदिन्न So, थोरै सेन्टरमा आइदिन्न थोरै यता आइदिन्न अलि सेन्टरमा भयो
Thank you, Dr. Sir. Dr. Subala, acknowledgement. धेरै धन्यवाद सर। हाम्रो स्लिपर टु स्याड कार्यक्रमलाई सफल बनाउन सहभागिता र सहयोग दुवैका लागि हामी सर्टिफिकेट अफ अप्रिसिएसन प्रदान गर्न चाहन्छौँ। सुरुवातमा नवोदय विद्यालय र श्री अन्तोदय जनज्योति आवासीय विद्यालयका प्रधानाध्यापकज्यूहरूलाई मञ्चमा आउन हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछु। उहाँलाई जोरदार तालीले स्वागत गरौँ। धेरै धेरै बधाई। अब म सम्पूर्ण जुनियर स्याटेलाइट टिमलाई मञ्चमा आउन हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछु। Today we are honored to have the presence of our talented junior satellite team among us. म नवोदय विद्यालयकी प्रधानाध्यापकज्यूलाई पनि मञ्चमा हार्दिक निमन्त्रण गर्दछु। उहाँलाई जोरदार तालीले स्वागत गर्दछु।
अगाडि आउनु अझ अगाडि आउनु आउनु अगाडि नै आउनु पछाडि आउनु पर्यो
धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद अनि बधाई। Today we are honored to have the presence of our talented junior satellite team among us. आज हामीसँग हाम्रो प्रतिभाशाली junior satellite team को उपस्थिति रहेको छ र म यहाँ उपस्थित टिमका सदस्यहरूको नाम क्रमशः बोलाउन चाहन्छु। दलसिंह चेपाङ, अमृत चेपाङ, शिवकुमार चेपाङ, सुमन प्रजा, माया प्रजा, अलिशा चेपाङ, शीतल प्रजा, सञ्जीना चेपाङ र सुमिना टिटो। उहाँहरूलाई हामी जोरदार तालीले स्वागत गरौँ।
भाइ पछाडि आइदिनु भाइ पछाडि आइदिनु हुन्छ अहिले सबैलाई बोकाएर लिउँ सबैलाई दिइदिनु त्यो सबै कतिवटा छ सबैलाई छ एउटा लिनु अनि अलि अगाडि आउनु न
अलिकति अगाडि
नाम
आइदिनु
आएको पछि गर्नु न अलि अगाडि आइदिनु न
अलि अगाडि आइदिनु न एक स्टेप
थोरै अगाडि आइदिनु न त्यो बिचसम्म आइदिनु न एकचोटि यता हेरिदिनु त सबैले ओके
Thank you so much, sir. धेरै धेरै बधाई तथा शुभकामना हाम्रो जुनियर स्याटेलाइट टिमको लागि। अब म एपिएन रिक्याप र S2S प्रेजेन्टेसनका लागि हाम्रा जुनियर स्याटेलाइट टिमबाट रणसिंह चेपाङ, अमृत चेपाङ, शिवकुमार चेपाङ र सुहन प्रजालाई मञ्चमा हार्दिक आमन्त्रण गर्दछु। I would now like to call the members of our junior satellite team for the APN recap. Let's welcome them with a huge round of applause, everyone.
यहाँ हुनुभएका सम्पूर्ण महानुभावहरूमा म स्वान प्रजालाई मेरा सम्पूर्ण सहकर्मी मित्र साथीहरूको तर्फबाट हार्दिक नमस्कार स्वीकार गर्नुहोस्। हामीले यहाँ तपाईँहरू सामु अन्तरिक्ष प्रतिष्ठान नेपाल गरेका कार्यहरू जुन विक्रम 2082 अर्थात् अप्रिल 2025 2026 समयमा अन्तरिक्ष प्रस्ताव नेपालले गरेका कार्यहरूको बारेमा यहाँहरू समक्ष प्रस्तुत गर्न आएका छौँ। गत वर्ष हामीले भूउपग्रह मिसन विज्ञान प्रविधि र शिक्षा क्षेत्रमा मुख्य उपलब्धिहरू हासिल गर्यौँ, जुन हामी यहाँ तपाईँहरू सामु मुख्य उपलब्धिहरूको बारेमा प्रस्तुत गर्न गइरहेको छौँ। हामीले जुन गत वर्ष जुन नेपालका निम्ति एउटा भूउपग्रह एउटा महत्त्वपूर्ण भूउपग्रह निर्माण गरी प्रक्षेपणबाट सहयोग गरे जुन आउँदो मिसनहरूको बारेमा यहाँ समक्ष प्रस्तुत गर्नेछ। जुन प्रस्तुतको बारेमा चाहिँ हामी प्रस्तुत गर्न निम्ति भयो चाहिँ योमा हस्तान्तरण गर्न चाहन्छु।
गत वर्ष अन्तरिक्ष प्रतिष्ठान नेपालले चाहिँ 3वटा भूउपग्रह प्रक्षेपण गर्न सफल भएको छ, जुनमा चाहिँ पहिलो नोभेम्बर 2025 मा चाहिँ नेपालले चाहिँ डाक्टर मिसन सप्लाई लन्च गरेको थियो, जुन चाहिँ यो चाहिँ हाम्रो फाल्कन 9 रकेटबाट चाहिँ प्रक्षेपण गरेको थियो। अनि त्यसपछि विक्रमसम्म 2082 सालमा चाहिँ फर्स्ट स्याट परियोजना लन्च गरेको थियो, जुन चाहिँ हाम्रो लागि एउटा सफलतापूर्वक थियो, जुन चाहिँ निम्न माध्यमिक विद्यार्थीहरू चाहिँ निर्माण गरेको पहिलो वार्षिक स्याट हो। यसको सफलतापछि चाहिँ हामीले अनि अर्को फेरि नयाँ बुढा स्याटेलाइट पनि लन्च गरेको थियो। त्यो चाहिँ 2026 जनवरीमा लन्च गरेको थियो। दुर्भाग्यवश रकेटमा चाहिँ केही खराबीको कारणले चाहिँ यो चाहिँ अन्तरिक्षमा चाहिँ आफ्नो कक्षामा पुग्न असफल भयो। अनि यसको कारणले चाहिँ अन्तरिक्ष प्रतिष्ठान नेपालले चाहिँ अब आउने दिनहरूमा चाहिँ नयाँ कुरा र प्रविधिमाथि बढी जोड दिने तयार गरेका छौँ। अब अर्को स्लाइड लागौँ। हामीले चाहिँ स्पष्ट स्याटको मिसनको सफलतापछि चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ अर्को नयाँ स्याटेलाइट यसकै डिजाइनमा चाहिँ स्पष्ट स्याटको डिजाइन गर्न लागेका छौँ। यसको मुख्य कार्य रहेको छ निम्न माध्यमिक विद्यार्थीका सीमान्तकृत वर्गहरूलाई चाहिँ बढी मान्यता दिने र यसमा चाहिँ बढी छात्रहरूलाई चाहिँ बढी सहभागिता जनाएको छ। यो चाहिँ हाम्रो नेपालको पहिलो विपद व्यवस्थापनमा चाहिँ बढी उद्देश्य राखेको छ। अनि त्यसपछि हाम्रो अर्को नयाँ स्याटेलाइट बनाउन लागेको छ, जुन चाहिँ हाम्रो नेपालको पहिलो 2 इयर स्याटेलाइट हुनेछ। यसमा चाहिँ नेपालमै डिजाइन गरिएका एटिसियासहरू र टिआरबिटीहरू प्रयोग गरेका छौँ, जसले चाहिँ हाम्रो अन्तरिक्षको यात्रालाई चाहिँ सफलता प्राप्त गर्न हासिल गरेको छ। अनि अर्को रहेको छ मिसन रहेको छ रिमोट स्मार्ट नेभिगेसन सफ्टवेयर। यो चाहिँ हाम्रो 10वटा क्युबस्याटको समूह हुनेछ। यसले चाहिँ प्रत्येक नेपालमा चाहिँ करिब 2 घण्टामा चाहिँ डाटाहरू सङ्कलन र सञ्चालनमा चाहिँ महत्त्वपूर्ण भूमिका खेल्नेछ। यसको अर्को मुख्य कारण भनेको चाहिँ नेपालमा चाहिँ हरेक ठाउँहरूमा चाहिँ विपद व्यवस्थापन गर्ने लगायत अन्य अपरेटरहरूलाई चाहिँ सहज र सुविधाजनक पार्न चाहिँ यो मिसन डिजाइन गरेको हो। अनि यो रिमोट सेन्सिङमा चाहिँ विभिन्न 2030सम्म चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ यसको पार्टिसिपेसन गर्ने निर्णय राखेको छ। अब अर्को स्लाइडतर्फ लागौँ। हामीले चाहिँ अब स्याटेलाइटसँगले कम्युनिकेट गर्नलाई चाहिँ हामीले ग्राउन्ड स्टेसन चाहिन्छ, जुन चाहिँ हाम्रो नाससँग चाहिँ नजिकको सम्बन्ध राखेको छ। जुन चाहिँ गत वर्ष पुराना र हालसम्म चलिरहेका जस्तै नेपाल स्याटन र स्पष्ट स्याटको लागि चाहिँ हामीले नाससँग चाहिँ नासको ग्राउन्ड स्टेसन प्रयोग गर्दै आएका छौँ। अब त्यस ग्राउन्ड स्टेसनमा चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ नयाँ हो कि ग्राउन्ड स्टेसन पनि रूपमा पनि काम गरेका छौँ, जसले चाहिँ हरेक अपरेटरहरूलाई चाहिँ सहज र सजिलो तरिकाले चाहिँ स्याटेलाइटसँग चाहिँ कम्युनिकेट गर्नको लागि चाहिँ प्रदान गर्छ। यसको मुख्य कार्य भनेको चाहिँ हाम्रो स्याटेलाइटसँग चाहिँ निरन्तर कम्युनिकेट गर्नको लागि चाहिँ यो ग्राउन्ड स्टेसनको आवश्यकता पर्छ। अर्को स्लाइडतर्फ लागौँ। अर्को मेन स्लाइड रहेको छ, यो चाहिँ हाम्रो ग्राउन्ड सेन्सर टर्मिनल हो। यो चाहिँ हाम्रो पानी सम्बन्धित हाइड्रो जल विकास गर्छ। यसमा चाहिँ हामीले के गर्न सकिन्छ भन्दामा चाहिँ हामीले यसमा वाटरप्रुफ इलेक्ट्रोनिक सेन्सरहरू जडान गरेको हुन्छ, जसले चाहिँ कठिन वातावरणमा पनि काम गर्न सक्छ र अन्य स्याटेलाइटसँग चाहिँ निरन्तरता चाहिँ कम्युनिकेट गर्न सकिन्छ। यसले चाहिँ ग्राउन्ड स्टेसनबाट चाहिँ हरेक 10 सेकेन्डमा चाहिँ डाटाहरू चाहिँ सङ्कलन गर्ने काम गर्छ, जुनमा चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ यो सफ्टवेयर तथा सफ्टवेयरहरूबाट चाहिँ कन्फिगरेसन गरेर चाहिँ चलाउन सकिन्छ। अनि यसले चाहिँ कसरी मद्दत गर्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ जस्तै बाढी पहिरो आएको बेलामा चाहिँ पानीको बहाव कतिले बढेको छ, अनि कुन ठाउँमा चाहिँ बाढी पहिरो गएको छ, अनि पानीको मात्रा चाहिँ कति खडेरी परेको छ, त्यसको आधारमा चाहिँ हामीले त्यही ग्राउन्ड स्टेसन र स्याटेलाइटको आधारमा चाहिँ हामीले डाटाहरू चाहिँ एनालाइज गरेर चाहिँ हामीले रिपोर्ट गर्ने काम गर्छ। अनि यसको मुख्य कार्य चाहिँ हाम्रो मैले खोलामा चाहिँ यो जडान गरेको छ। अब अर्को स्लाइडतर्फ लागौँ। यो चाहिँ हाम्रो विज्ञान सम्बन्धित एआई सम्बन्धित चाहिँ हाम्रो रणनीति साथीले भन्नुहुन्छ।
नमस्ते।
नमस्ते रिपोर्ट अनुगमन तथा मूल्याङ्कन हाम्रो कामको अर्को मुख्य उद्देश्य मुख्य क्षेत्र रिपोर्ट अनुगमन र मूल्याङ्कन हो एपीएन वा अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय प्रतिष्ठान नेपालले खुला स्रोत ओपन सोर्स र व्यावसायिक भूउपक्रम डाटा प्रयोग गरेर बाढी पहिरो र भूकम्प जस्ता प्राकृतिक विपत्तिहरूको निरन्तर विश्लेषण गर्छ हाम्रा मोडुलहरूले विपद अघि र पछिको विश्लेषण गरी प्रभाव बुझ्न र योजना बनाउन सहयोग पुर्याउँछ टेन र सवारी साधन पहिचान यसै क्रममा एपीएन वा अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय प्रतिष्ठान नेपालले विपदपछि प्रभावित जनसङ्ख्या अनुमान गर्न कम्प्युटर भिजन मोडल विकास गरेको छ यो मोडलले भूउपग्रह चित्रहरूबाट ट्रेन र सवारी साधनहरू पहिचान गर्छ जसले गर्दा विस्थापन र जमिनको वास्तविक अवस्था बुझ्न सजिलो हुन्छ अब म इक्विप र उत्पादन विकासका भनाइ म शिवम कुमारलाई हस्तान्तरण गर्छु
शिक्षा तालिम प्रदान गरी विकसित गरेको हो समयसँग हामीले यसको उत्पादनका लागि ठुलो विकसित गरेका छौँ PCB assembly परीक्षण गर्न प्रक्रिया गरेका छौँ हाम्रो पहिलो ब्याच पूर्ण रूपमा अतिरिक्त रूपमा टायर र प्रमाणित भइसकेको छ जसमा ठुलो उपलब्ध गराउनका लागि हामीलाई देखाउनुपर्छ इक्विप सेटेलाइट विश्वविद्यालयमा वितरण गरेको छ यो एसिया लगायतको
गरिएको छ। अर्को नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। यो चाहिँ यसको बारेमा म भनिदिएको छु। सानो रिक्स प्रोसेसर विकासको बारेमा हामीले पनि काम गरेका छौँ। बाहिर स्पेस र अनुप्रयोगका लागि उपयोग हामीले 5 स्टेज पाइपलाइन र आर्किटेक्चरमा डिजाइन गरेको छ। यो प्रणालीले विद्युत कम खपत गर्ने काम गर्छ र विश्वसनीय प्रदान गर्छ र कुरा ध्यान केन्द्रित गर्ने काम गर्छ। यो जसले गर्दा भविष्यमा कम्प्युटिङको उपयुक्त हुन्छ। धन्यवाद। अब अर्को नेक्स्ट स्लाइड चाहिँ भन्नको लागि अन्तरिक्ष प्रतिष्ठान नेपालले स्याटेलाइट गर्ने कार्य हाम्रो संस्थागत कुनै निश्चित स्थानमा मात्र नभइकन देशका प्रत्येक कुनामा गएर चाहिँ सम्पूर्ण विद्यार्थीहरूलाई सहभागी बनाएर चाहिँ सानो-सानो बनाउने यस्ता निर्माण कार्यहरूमा सहभागी बनाएर उनीहरूको सिकाइ क्षमता बढाउनको निम्ति र उनीहरूलाई सहभागी बनाएर उनीहरूले जीवनमा कस्तो कार्य गर्नुपर्छ र सङ्घर्ष नगरिकन हामीले सफल हुन सक्दैनौँ भन्ने कुरा पनि सिकाउँछ। भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ सङ्घर्ष गर्नु पनि जुन सिकाउँछ जुन स्याटेलाइट निर्माण गरेको त्यसरी नै सम्पूर्ण जुन नेपाल देशका कुना-कुनामा र हरेक क्षेत्रमा अध्ययन गर्दै हुनुहुने विद्यार्थीहरूलाई अन्तरिक्ष प्रतिष्ठान नेपालले स्याटेलाइट जस्ता विज्ञान र प्रविधि जस्ता क्षेत्रहरूमा काम गर्न लगाएर चाहिँ आफ्नो सिकाइ क्षमता बढाउनलाई चाहिँ महत्त्वपूर्ण योगदान दिँदै आउनुभएको छ। गत वर्षका कार्यहरूलाई नियन्त्रित गर्न हेर्दाखेरि अन्तरिक्ष प्रतिष्ठान नेपालले प्राप्त गरेका उपलब्धिहरूलाई यहाँहरू समक्ष प्रस्तुत गर्न महत्त्वपूर्ण हुन्छ। जुन अन्तरिक्ष प्रतिष्ठान नेपालले गरेका कार्यहरू राष्ट्रिय स्तरमा मात्र नभइकन अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय स्तरबाट नै सम्मान प्राप्त गर्दा जुन नेपाल देशमा मात्र नभइकन अन्य देशहरूसँग पनि सहमतिमा एक आपसमा हाकिमालो गर्दै एउटा मजबुत सम्बन्ध स्थापना गर्न पनि सहयोग गर्दै आएको छ। संयुक्त राष्ट्र सङ्घको सहयोग मार्फत अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय प्रतिष्ठान नेपालले शिल्पसुसाट 2 पूर्ण प्रक्षेपण गर्न सहयोग प्राप्त गरेको छ। र यो अन्तरिक्ष प्रतिष्ठान नेपालको हालसम्म गतिविधिहरू यति नै हो र हाम्रो प्रस्तुतिकरण यहाँहरूसम्म चाहिँ यति नै भन्दै सकिएको घोषणा गर्दै यहाँहरूमाझबाट हामी सम्पूर्ण साथीहरू बिदा हुन चाहन्छौँ। फेरि पनि यहाँ सम्पूर्ण हार्दिक
हाम्रो junior satellite team like धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद र आगामी दिनहरूका लागि शुभकामना. APN is really proud of our entire team, so let's give a big round of applause for the entire team. Moving forward, now I would like to invite our next guest for his keynote speech, Mr. Harindu Dayaratnam, a space system engineer at the Arthur C. Clarke Institute for Modern Technologies, Sri Lanka. He works in the field of spacecraft systems engineering and satellite development with a strong focus on small satellite programs. He has been involved in international collaborative missions, including CubeSat and nanosatellite projects such as BIRD Speed and Sri Lanka's Ravana 1 mission, contributing to spacecraft design, onboard systems, development, and mission operation. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all now welcome Mr. Harindu Dayaratnam on the stage for his keynote speech with a huge round of applause.
Good morning, everyone, all the guests and all the participants. Ayubowan and Namaste. Ayubowan means in our language, have a long life. So this is my title. So during the first day, I will talk about my organization, Arthur Clarke Institute for Modern Sri Lanka, and about our satellite and our national program about space, and our team and current activities, and the collaboration of the community also. Our mission is to develop and foster the domestic base of modern technologies, capabilities through innovation, research and development, training, industrial service, and international collaboration. So our mandate is to accelerate the adoption of modern technologies in Sri Lanka. So through research and development in modern technologies, technical support to government and private sector, and training and capacity building of this and promotion of future-oriented technology studies. And our organization is there, you can see in the map. So, and this is our main building. So, this is the main building. So, here follow the legacy of the Arthur C. Clarke. So, Arthur C. Clarke established our institute and founded with the Arthur C. Clarke. And he was in Sri Lanka. He is a British writer, and he later he was renamed as Arthur C. Clarke Institute for Modern Technologies, and continues to serve as Sri Lanka National Center for Advanced Technology and Research and Innovation. So these are Arthur C. Clarke Institute satellites. So you can see the our satellite goes on one. We did that one from 2017 to 2021, and the second one was Kitsune, and it is a collaboration project, and it is technology Japan, and the third one is the research one. It is the first X. So the next generation of the satellites. So these are the inward satellites, but other than the satellites, we have other satellite projects also. So you can see this Ravana is very special because that Ravana, when you split this space with you satellite Nepal one. So you can see Ravana and Nepal one in space with the bottom Nepal team. So Nepal team, Dr. Abbas and Ali is here. So this is how it happened in Sri Lanka. In 2014, we conceptualized the Space Technology Development Program. In 2015, we initiated the UN focus, and we started the collaboration project with some other university in Russia, and we had a training session there. And in 2017, with Samara and Kyoto Institute of Technology Japan, we started a training session. And in 2019, we launched Navan, 2021, and 2023, the six. And the next activity in our organization is making the space policy for the Sri Lanka. So this is our team. It was not a big deal, but they are very good team. So Oma Devi Sanapana was the one who is conceptualized and he is the father of our space program. And then our coordinator, and our engineering division head. And then engineering team is myself and Ranchaka and Sompa. So actually, within these, actually we find these projects. So the current business activities at this area, we are designing and we will use that, and we have some ground station operation, and also we do satellite payload development for the other satellite projects, and also we do international collaboration and consultancy services. And we do a lot of training and capacity building projects. So there are students coming and okay, these are the things currently we are doing. So we don't have a current perspective, but what we are doing is we are optimizing all the design to support power consumption. So basically we are optimizing the power consumption. So you can see as an example, this board university consists about in Rama and Nepal segment consists of over 60 million here. Then we could take reduce to the 30 million here. And we do the cost reduction also. So as an example, we use a commercial transceiver in the Rama and Nepal segment. It goes about 3,500 USD. So actually we could reduce it to 200 USD. It's very cheap and its performance is better than the commercial one. And we are simplifying the design. It's simplifying, but it is becoming more advanced. So basically we are using FPGAs for the satellites. So normally we don't use FPGAs often, but since we have enough experience, we are going for the FPGAs. So these are the lessons from Sri Lanka's experience. So you have to start with a small satellite system. So you should not go to bigger satellite. Otherwise, you don't know how to use the satellite. And you must have the strong international partnership. Otherwise, it's very hard to make satellites inside your country. So you have a very strong partnership with Russia and investing in human capacity development and encouraging student-led space programs and focus on sustainability and continuity. So if you want to collaborate with us, so you can collaborate in this field. You can collaborate in start missions, we have ground station networks, so we have ground station, UHF and VHF. So we will have a C-band and S-band ground station coming on. So if you have C-band or S-band payload, you can use our ground station. So, and we can have a exchange program like Zoom session like that. And we can have a different satellite network and capacity partnership also.
Thank you so much, sir, for your keynote speech. Now, I would like to request our exhibitors to return to the stalls for now. And I would also like to invite the winners of National Mission Idea Contest, South Alabama Solar Sentinel, to the stage. Organized by UNICEF Global, this competition aims to take the fresh ideas of young minds forward, further develop them and support their implementation. Our National Mission Idea Contest का विजेताहरू सब एल्बम सोलर सेन्टिनललाई मञ्चमा आमन्त्रण गर्न चाहन्छु। युनिसेफ ग्लोबलद्वारा आयोजित यस प्रतियोगिताले युवाहरूका नयाँ र ताजा विचारलाई अघि बढाउँदै थप विकास गर्ने कार्यान्वयन गर्ने लक्ष्य राखेको छ। हाम्रा विजेताहरू सतीश राज रेग्मी, खगेन्द्र मगर, दीपा बन्जाले, प्रियम बुढा र आशिष सिंह कार्कीलाई मञ्चमा हार्दिक आमन्त्रण गर्न चाहन्छु। उहाँहरूलाई जोरदार तालीले स्वागत गरौँ।
My name is Kyle Munger. Today, me and my partner, Satish Rajregmi, is here to present our CubeSat mission idea. Before we move on to the actual mission idea itself, let us talk about why we need such a mission. So, the name of our mission is Solve L1 Solar Sentinel. Somewhere far away in space, far away from Earth, there is plasma and magnetic pulse that is continuously being ejected towards Earth. This phenomenon is known as CMEs, coronal mass ejection. So, how can something so far away from Earth affect something so close to us, Earth, our home? Well, CMEs are responsible for generating geomagnetic storms that disrupt power grids, GPS signals, and very high radio communication. Issues that I just mentioned right now were major causes of satellite loss and grid failure in the past. We all know that finding a problem is relatively easier than finding a solution. We do have a solution for this problem, but it is not a very good one, as current monitoring sources do not provide sufficient time for carrying out safety grid shutdown protocols. This is current solution humanity has for this problem. People have placed satellites or sentinels at the L1 point. At this point, there is a limit, or let's say a restriction, in how fast we can send warning signals to Earth. If these satellites were to be placed in warning zone, or let's say a sub-L1 point, warning signals would be way faster and we would be able to carry out safety grid protocols. But placing these satellites in this warning zone is extremely difficult as it consumes a lot of fuel. The sun is continuously pulling the satellite towards it, and in order to overcome this, the satellites must use a lot of fuel. Now, this is the solution that me and my teammates have come up with. We'll be using a 12G CubeSat, provide a faster, better, and cheaper alternative to conventional satellites. This 12G CubeSat will be placed at the sub-L1 point, which lies in the warning zone. This CubeSat will consist of a solar cell that generates propulsion through the use of solar radiation. The generated propulsion will perfectly counterbalance the sun's gravity, hence it will be anchored at the sub-L1 point. So, what exactly is a solar cell? Well, a solar cell is a propellant-free propulsion system. It uses solar radiation to generate propulsion. It consists of very small and thin ultra-reflective membranes that reflect photons. Solar cells being perfectly propellant-free and do not require consumption of fuel, they are perfect and optimal for this problem. How do solar cells actually work? We all know that the sun emits light and solar radiation. They consist of photons. Photons carry a certain amount of momentum, and When photons strike the reflective layer of the solar cell, they will transfer momentum. This transferred momentum will result in the generation of force, ultimately giving us our required propulsion or thrust. In order to control this propulsion and thrust, we have a steering component. This steering component is varied by either changing the angles of the solar sail or the sail itself. Now, as our mission is related to providing faster warning signals to Earth for proper safety grid shutdown protocols, our satellite will be placed at the South L1 point, which lies in the warning zone that I mentioned earlier. At this point, the sun's gravity will provide a sufficient amount of propulsion in order to counterbalance it. Hence, we will not need a lot of consumption of fuel in order to stay anchored at this point. Now I'd like to call my partner, Samesh Rajagiri, to continue this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Before starting the presentation, I'd like to take a word on the position. L1 is also a point in space where the gravity of Earth and the gravity of the Sun nullify, and that point becomes an artificial gravitational point where satellites will go. And our target is to go ahead than the L1 point, that is some L1 point. Now I'll move towards the technological aspect of the satellite. Our whole mission is about early warning system of the coronal mass ejection. So the timeline of the mission is 4 years, whereas set area is 81 square meter. We are using mostly the heritage component of NASA's SES-3 mission, as well as Light Sail 2 mission and Japan's Icarus mission. Also, the payloads include sensor and cameras for identifying coronal mass ejection and X-band communication system. And main mission is to give early warning, that is 30 to 45 times earlier, 30 to 45 minutes earlier to the ground station of the Earth, which will redirect the warning to the LEO as well as geostationary satellite, through which the satellites can turn off or go to the sleep mode, which can prevent lot of damages to the satellite. And some missions include validation of the propellant-free solar cell going in deep space missions. Talking about the satellite design, satellite is of 12U with less than 70 kg, and the acceleration is just 0.05 mm square second. The acceleration is quite low, but since the specific impulse of the solar cell is infinity, that is, we get a continuous acceleration, continuous force from the solar cell, as well as we are using the lunar sensor. That means we are using lunar as gravity assist, take gravity assist and make our velocity bigger while moving towards the L1 position. Okay, talking about the configuration, it will have 4 solar rooms of 7 meter. We are taking CFRP rooms that are validated by the NASA's SES-3 mission with 100% no thermal expansion, and as well as it is 75% lighter than matter. And the reflective membrane is of aluminum and chromium in the backside. We can see the patches, yellow patches in the configuration. We'll go to that later on. And talking about the mission phases, first phase include the ejection from the rocket, which will be above 800 to 1000 km, as the atmospheric drag below that point might bring back the satellite to the Earth's orbit. So we'll be launching after 1000 km range, and after that we'll be moving towards the lunar region. We will be using the lunar assist and cruise towards the L1 position. After L1 position, we will give data to the ground station up to the points of L1. Okay, let's move to our power system.
we are using thin film photovoltaics, and why we are using this is the membranes is very thin, and as I said earlier, there are allo patches in the configuration. So that thin patches, that allo patches are thin film photovoltaics, and we are covering 5% of that area, that is 4 square meter, and the thin film photovoltaics are 10 to 20 micrometer. So it is really thin, and the efficiency is 20 to 32%, which is really same as solar panels. And it generates the power of 120 to 200 watt, which is enough for our power budget as well as wind budget. Talking about the communication system, we are using X-band communication high frequency because while giving data from the space, we need very high frequency to give enough data without scattering. So X-band is used, as well as you can see the power budget. We are using 60 watt, and 60 to 100 watts power is extra power margin is extra for our mission. As well as I said earlier, these allo patches are solar thin photovoltaics, and we are also putting AGI here. Then why AGI? Since the flares from the solar are continuous, and we can give all the data to the ground station, our link margin as well as our power budget limits that. So we will be processing that data, and if only the early warning have to be given to the earth, then that kind of data will be sent. Otherwise, our AI machine learning model will okay, and I'll talk about the potential mission failures, and what is the booms might not get deployed, as well as there might be UV degradation. Although we have used many heritage components, but it is space, so we can't really guarantee about that. And attitude control determining might be very hard because we are using 81 square meter solar cell, which is very hard to do the attitude control. And since we are not using any propellant, it will be quite hard for us. And future possibilities is since without propellant we are going at deep space missions, so it will be validation of our whole system, that can be of booms or solar membranes or AGI or communication validation system can be done in future. Deep space missions can do these things. And if there is any questions from the audience, I am free to answer. Sorry, I can. Can you speak a bit louder?
Slide where we have the gravitational field of the sun and the earth. Where you have the sub-L1 point. Yes. So how do you have this curvature in the middle? Like there's no mass there. So you see the L1 point?
Yeah.
So why is it like curved down? If there's no mass there, how does space curve?
There is no mass. Are you asking? There is no mass, or that is on the gravitational force of the sun, and another is the God. And so that one position will have more gravitational force. So the whole system is like the sun will try to pull towards its area, and our velocity, the velocity we gain from the thrust, that photons momentum will united like the centrifugal force, and in that way the force balances out.
it's all about body warning. So what I can guarantee is it will give a warning system 45 minutes earlier. I can guarantee about that, but I don't know it's all stressful.
Yeah, my question is similar. Maybe you already said that. So what made you choose Saul L1 and not L1? Because traveling from Cork, I think L1 will be closer than the Saul L1. So what made you choose Saul L1?
In L1 position currently there are satellites, but why are we using Saul L1 is in the L1 position it takes about 30 minutes early, it gives warning 30 minutes earlier to the ground station, but 30 minutes is not enough to turn off the transmission rates, as well as 30 minutes might not be enough to redirect that information to the satellites in the geostationary as well as LEO. So we will be adding 50 minutes extra in sub-L1 position. So for that margin, we move towards the sub-L1.
And there won't be any unstable in L1 than L1?
Yeah, it will be unstable, but we will be gaining lots of velocity to photons momentum at the time, so it will be like the vector component will be not there.
Thank you.
Okay. One question from our little space enthusiast. Can you be loud? A microphone, please.
So how is the sub L1 on the map? How is the sub L1 on the map? On the map.
Microphone? Yeah.
On the map, why is the sub L1 closer to the sun than the L1?
And the sub-L1 is position where the sun's gravity is greater than the Earth's gravity. So L1 position, the gravity not bad, sub-L1 is closer to the sun. It's a kind of, what I said, rule or something like that. It's kind of place. Okay, I think time is limited, so I'll end up here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much to the entire team and a big congratulations and best wishes. Moving forward, our keynote speaker is Ms. Jagruti Gutel, a Nepal-born aerospace innovator with experience working with the Canadian Space Agency, Weaver, and the MIT-affiliated Aurelia Institute. She is currently a human spaceflight trainee with the International Institute of Astronautical Sciences, preparing for future human spaceflight missions. Her work focuses on using space technology for disaster resilience, inspired by 2015 Nepal earthquake. She has led a 103,000-foot high altitude balloon mission and participated in a zero-gravity research flight, carrying Nepali identity into microgravity. Her work has been featured internationally at CBC News, CTV News, and Global News. I would now like to request Ms. Jagruti Gutel to come forward to the stage for her keynote speech. Let's welcome her with a big round of applause, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing great. I know everyone's hungry, so I'm nice. I'll make this quick. Before I begin, I just want to acknowledge the efforts of the organizing committee, so let's all give them a round of applause again. Thank you. I also want to point out, I hope that next year there'll be more women keynote speakers on stage. It's a bittersweet thing to be the only one this year. So today I'm going to talk about something very interesting. It might not be technical enough, but I'm going to use my technical experience to explain some broader topics in the aerospace industry that I learned in North America, including Canadian Space Agency, MIT, and satellite companies. First slide. So yes, my talk is going to be about how space is not not a sector. Space is the next layer of power and where Nepal fits in that layer of power. Next slide. I want to start with a question. Are you working on space or are you preparing for a world that space is about to create? Because those are no longer the same thing. One is a field and the other is a shift in where the world is headed. Next slide. As I mentioned, they're not the same thing anymore because people think they're doing one, but the implications are increasing day by day. Next slide. So when I started working in the space sector, I thought it was a sector as well. Like aerospace, we all think is engineering, tech, enter, learn, build, and inspire. Next slide. But inside these systems, I realized something very quickly. The way decisions are made, the constraints, the structures, felt very different from what I had perceived in the beginning. Next slide. So space is not a sector, it's a power shift. It changes who has information, it changes who makes decisions, and it changes who holds power. Next slide. This is an example of how a space system might work. We've been getting a lot of examples about this today on the stage. We get satellites and we get data from it. The ground stations translate it into decision makers that make informed decisions using that satellite. For example, disaster mitigation. But satellites are just the beginning. The real value is what decides what they enable. And the product is no longer data, it's about decisions. Next slide. And I'm now going to talk about my experience in space systems and how it shaped how I view this field. Next slide. So, working at the Canadian Space Agency, I realized that nothing is theoretical. Everything is about constraints, reviews, and systems thinking. You realize how complex these systems actually are. They're not just the engineering layer, they're logistics, communications, as well as very powerful leadership. Next slide. While I'm training for human spaceflight, I realized it's about body limits, operations, as well as discipline. You can't fake reality in those environments, you have to be operationally very disciplined. Next slide. At Wider, which is a hyperspectral satellite company, they take images of the Earth, where you understand the composition of the soil rather than just the image itself. And the key thing here was that we weren't selling just images, it was, again, decisions. Next slide. So that's when I really started understanding with an array of experiences that space is now infrastructure. It does not stay on top of the world, it is something that sits underneath it. Next slide. And the world is already starting to move. In the next few decades, the space industry is projected to have $1 trillion in value, and even later than that, in a few decades, $15 trillion in value. And it's not theoretical, it's happening right now, and Nepal has a choice about how to join this $1 trillion economy. Next slide. And this is where power is being reorganized across nations, across companies, across systems. I have 3 images of the examples of what this future looks like. The first one is lunar economy. It's called off-worlding, where all the infrastructures we have on Earth goes to the moon. For example, mining, because the gravity is lower there, production factories become easier. Second one is orbital infrastructure. So you guys might have heard about AI and satellites, so data centers in space, new generation of space stations, that will fall under the orbital infrastructure. The last one is sovereign launch capabilities. Countries are becoming more and more interested in how they can ensure their sovereignty using space technologies, because now defense and space are also closely correlated. Next slide. So here are some examples of some companies in different sectors. mining, data, and infrastructures. So we can see how this new space economy is emerging. Next slide. So where does Nepal fit in all of this? That's the question at the moment right now. I want you guys to kind of think about that as well. Next slide. I think the biggest mistake I see is viewing space as an academic field. Only an academic field. Academics are very important. But it's not only a field to study, not just something theoretical. Its implications are increasing day by day in our day-to-day lives. So I want you to not just see space as engineering and an academic field, which I find to be the case in Nepal quite often. Next slide. I think we have to start seeing it as critical infrastructure for the country. National security is the first one. We need to start, because Nepal is situated between China and India, the need for sovereignty has increased day by day. Our borders need to be monitored, so that's one very important use case. The second one is disaster mitigation. We've heard a few examples here as well about that. And I was inspired with the disaster mitigation because of the 2015 Nepal earthquake as well. And Nepal is one of the highest prone countries to disaster mitigations. And the last one is dual use case. When I was working at MIT, I realized that a new generation of space architecture is being formed. And my thesis, or my paper I wrote there, was about how we can use microgravity's research for applications for Nepal. For example, they grow plants in space now. So maybe in Everest, in extreme environments that our country offers, we need to increase dual use cases for our country as well. And this is how serious players are also thinking about it. And if Nepal wants to be that player, we need to start viewing it as critical infrastructure. Next slide. So the question is no longer, how do we use space? I think the question now is, what layer of power do we want to own as a country? Where do we participate and where do we lead? And to lead, we have to actually start thinking like leaders and own a layer of power. Next slide. I want to give a small story to end this off. When I first went to Canada at age 15, I felt a very strong pressure to fit into that country. I felt like success was measured by how much I could let go of Nepal and my identity as a Nepali. Next slide. I continually faced, pressure to assimilate, fit into a new culture, and I just felt like I had to just give up parts of myself to belong in that new world. Next slide. But what I didn't realize was my Nepali identity itself was the thing that made me stand out in this new world. I embraced being Nepali, the values, the deep need for impact, as well as representation in that new world. And this is a picture of me floating in zero-gravity plane with rhododendrons on my flight suit. And I think this was a moment where I felt like Nepal and embracing our identity can be the very thing that can make us stand up in the global world. Next slide. And I believe Nepal is in that exact moment. We have a choice about either we just understand the concept of globalization, where the technologies that have already been created in the rest of the world are brought here, or we can think about what can Nepal give to the world. What is our perspective? How do we see these systems? And I think Nepal is in the moment to decide these things, where Nepal can actually be an advantage to the world. Next slide. This is a picture of another project I did where I sent a camera 103,000 feet into the stratosphere, and this is the Earth, the picture that the project took. So I want to propose a question to all of you. 100 years from now, when Nepali people from generations way ahead of us look back at this moment, will they say that we were able to realize how important this moment and this cusp of history was, Or will they say that we kind of looked over it and we're in the same situation again 100 years from now? Next slide. So to end, I want to propose the question I asked in the beginning again. Are you working on space, or are you preparing for a world space will create? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jagruti. We have now reached at the end of the first half of Spacecon 2026 by Organization Pratishthan Nepal with organizing partners, Nepal Academy of Science and Technology NAST, Chain Link Engineering, Local Pakar and Association of Nepalese Alumni from Australia, ANA, banking partner Nabil Life Limited, energy partner Sanima Hydro Private Limited, internet partner Subiku, food partner Delish, gifting partners I Am the Gardener and Access Tech, automobile partner Acre, logistic partner Baba Infotech and General Traders, project partner Amateur Radio Digital Communication ARDC, media partner Nepal Forum of Science Journalists and MSJ, education partner NEC, hospitality partner the Plaza. We also had a test drive facility from our automobile partner outside, so you can enjoy the test drive facility during the lunch. We will now proceed for lunch, and after the lunch, Ballroom 3 will host paper presentations, while Ballroom 2 will have a panel discussion. I would like to request you to be seated according to your interest after the lunch. We also have poster exhibitions and stalls outside that you are welcome to visit during the break. Our organizing team will guide you to the lunch menu. We will resume the program after lunch after 1 hour. अब हामी स्पेसकन 2026 कार्यक्रमको पहिलो चरणको अन्त्यमा आइपुगेका छौँ। हामी लन्चको लागि अगाडि बढ्छौँ। लन्चपछि बलरुम 3 मा पेपर प्रेजेन्टेसन कार्यक्रम हुनेछ भने बलरुम 2 मा प्यानल डिस्कसन हुनेछ। कृपया आफ्नो रुचि अनुसार आफ्नो बलरुममा सहभागी हुन अनुरोध गर्दछु। यस अवधिमा पोस्टर एक्जिबिसन तथा स्टल पनि अवलोकन गर्न सक्नुहुनेछ। लन्चपछि हामी कार्यक्रम पुनः सुरु गर्नेछौँ। धन्यवाद।
No problem. लन्चमा चाहिँ मैले 100 रुपियाँ जतिको
युनिभर्सिटीको प्रोडक्ट हो। तपाईकै फ्याकल्टी होला? कुन फ्याकल्टी?
म इलेक्ट्रिकल इन्जिनियरिङ हो, तर पास गरेको चाहिँ 1998 मा हो।
इलेक्ट्रिकल हो,
पासको हो।
त्यही त धेरै भएको हैन आँखा
Aiming, for example, I don't think anyways, property, and different temperatures. The water. Okay, so I select so whatever questions you have, I don't know, we have the program. How do you research, do particular research, what you do in research, or just the model, the research, research, basically contact, thank you very much.
टेबल पनि
सजिलो हुन्छ क्या बढी भएको